this is the garage in the back of our house. And right back here is where we hope to grow the elderberries. It's at least 10 acres. We're not going to put it all in elderberries. You're seeing General Lee, the tree, in the background there. And this is bottomland, which is the creek runs right along where you're seeing all those trees there. And there's a pond over there behind those trees there. And this grass needs cut really bad or eaten. But for now, that's our bottomland, which is very good for elderberries. Right, sweetie pie?
Well, that's what we understand. We hope to learn more about that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We'll know the definite details, and we can start making some decisions and some plans.
So we've had some people ask for a tour of our garden and stuff each week. Can be really boring, but we're going to try to make it exciting. So follow us.
Here we were, leaving home to go pick up feed for the chickens. And as we drive out our driveway, which our neighbors share the end of the driveway with us, I know there'd been some activity over there. I didn't exactly know what it was, and we see two trucks, the kind that are used for trimming trees. And we stopped. I got
out of the car.
And as I walked over there, one of the guys came to meet me. My first question was, do you ever look for places to dump your wood chips? Yes, we do, he said. I said, well, I would like some. Would you want me to dump this load over here when we're done? I'm like, yes. That was easy. Easy for them. They had to drive, what, 200 feet or so is all they had to drive.
So we got wood chips and we're going to put them in. Right here is the concrete chicken coop. The stationary one. The one that's
the foundation is concrete. The walls are wood. We're going to use deep litter method, so that's going to be the basis of it right there to get it up and going. So it'll be hopefully a foot or so thick at the very least, so it'll have plenty of material to absorb everything the chickens do. They'll kick it around, they'll turn it over, and over time it's going to break down and we'll be able to dig it out. We have some great compost, but in the meantime it's going to keep that clean and fresh smelling.
So this is our keyhole. Our problem is it's running downhill. What we should do right now is take a torch and get all the weeds torched out because the carrots aren't up yet. And that's what JM 40 Air says to do, is that you torch everything just before the carrots come up.
Well, I don't have a flame weeder, but I do have a small propane torch, so I can get it out and we can burn those off. So you're absolutely right. That's what I ought to do here.
And then these are our sweet potato slips. And we have onions coming up all along there. And a different kind of carrot is already started coming up here.
And there's some.
And next year we're gonna have a wall on here and hope to get it up to about here. We'll just keep building it up and building it up.
And with the wall, we'll be able to have the bed itself be level on the inside, yep, which will help it a lot.
Yep. But right now, it's growing onions and sweet potatoes for sure.
And in the middle is the compost pile. We've got a variety of materials in there. We're going to continue to wet that down, and over time, it's going to compost. And the water that runs out of it will essentially be a compost tea to go into the soil to help the nutrient value of the soil.
Okay, this is the 50-foot garden. So I'm going to tell you about the things I did wrong. I put a little bit of blood meal on the base of each one of them and got some on their leaves. So wherever you see that they've turned brown, that's because I fried them.
And for those of you who've been watching this from the beginning, you know, there are a lot of questions about using the straw. It's all we had, so we put it down. We didn't have a mower to mow the grass, so we put it down on the long grass that was there, cardboard, so on and so forth. We knew that we were going to get the grass growing up through it, and it is. But it's not out of control. We come out every few days, pull what's there, and we seem to be keeping up with it fairly well.
Yeah, it's easy. This is our basil, doing really well. I've got rosemary and thyme and oregano. Again, just like last year in Oregon, some of our tomatoes are really struggling. We worried and worried and worried about them last year. We had wood chips on them, and we tried all kinds of stuff, and we added the bone meal, and they just came out of it. And so this year we're just not worrying about it. We're gonna go ahead and put some liquid fertilizer on it, organic of course. We have our ferns, our fennel and our dill, and there's some thyme. I have parsley, and then we have peppers alternating with tomatoes. We had to replace this tomato, that tomato right here, and then I just added an extra one and moved the little pepper to the center. This one is just loaded with tomatoes. Everybody thought that the Roma was determinate and that we were going to ruin it. This is actually a Roma grape. It states right on it that it is an indeterminate, and it is growing huge clusters all over, all the way down. It's so cool. So I'm going to show you a picture of last year's tomato garden, and our problem was where we have these 2x4s, we had 1x2s, and they would literally just sway like this, and then they'd just crack. And so this year, to have these all standing up so nice, even when they get tall, we're not going to have those 2x4s crack. So we're pretty darn proud of this. It's pretty and functional too.
When we put the original tomatoes in, we didn't have this infrastructure in place, and so we weren't able to tie them up. So we planted them, and then we eventually got this in, and so we had to tie off to the bottom of them because we didn't want to drive a stake in and mangle the roots. But with the two new ones that we've put in, what we were able to do is, before putting them in, we drove a stake in, and what I had was some rebar.
I think that's great.
About a foot long. Drove it in quite a ways, tied it off, and then drove it in further to tighten the string or the rope up, and then we're able to fasten to it, and it's a good sturdy place to hold. We fasten it with these tomato grippers.
So that'll be what we do next time.
Yes, it will be ready next time. We'll have it in place and be able to do that.
Big tree, got new growth on it.
It's going great. Now look what we're having happening here. Under seeing little ants on it. I wonder if that's good or bad.
I don't know. I know that wasps, if you watched Art and Bree this week, I think he was telling that if you bring in things to bring in wasps, we have wasps, that they will eat the Mexican bean beetle.
Okay.
So it saves our other.
Here's a blossom we hadn't seen.
That's really pretty.
So
raspberries.
Yeah, now I didn't remember these other raspberries coming out that color.
Look at these.
The leaves on these are larger than, well, maybe not. Get down to the lower ones.
Look at these, Jim. They're just loaded.
Yeah, it's loaded. It's looking good. They're a ways from ripe, but they are on their way.
We have to learn how to do it because we have these new canes coming out. And with the blackberries, we knew the great big canes didn't do anything, so we need to find out if we need to be getting rid of the ones that don't have berries on them. If you know, please put it in the comments and we'll try to have time to open up a book.
Is it next year's berries?
Yeah, or is that next year's berries?
That's what I'm thinking.
All right.
A good stand of them here. I'm certain if we learn what we're doing, we can spread it out, even it out, get them to where they're not over and that they're spread proper.
We'd also like to know if these are chamomile. We have been told that they might be. And we have,
if they are,
we have lots of them. Well, I know what you do with them. You can dry them and do tea.
So do you do the leaves or the blossoms?
Oh, I don't know that. But I have a book.
Okay. A learning we will go.
A learning. Okay, this is our little tiny squash garden. And we won't be buying zucchini anymore because as you can see, there is an abundance of zucchinis on there. This one is not growing any yet. This is our summer squash.
Yeah, it's going to be later before it starts producing.
This is our spaghetti squash. And we're just letting it go.
And it's going.
We were going to put a fence up around it, but we haven't had any problem and it just started sprawling. That's our watermelon and it's going. This is our winter large squash. And this is our pumpkin that's just kind of jack-o'-lantern sized pumpkins. Oh my goodness.
And it's happening.
We are happening in there. We got some blossoms ready to go.
Cool.
And then right here and right here, I just planted gymongous pumpkins and I'm just gonna let them go out this way.
Okay.
That's for the contest, by the way. Our comfrey is growing. We're really excited about that. And this is the little garden, sweet little garden of our friends, Austin and Sierra. And they've got a row of radishes coming up like crazy. 2 different ones. Theirs looks really nice. Lots of tomatillos. And then we have my lavender and 2 potato towers. And then we put in 1, 2, 3 grapes.
This grape, a squirrel dug it up, so we had to put it back in. I don't think there's any harm, and it realized there was nothing worth
And then
eating.
over here, I've just planted, we have the rose bush is doing amazing. The rhubarb didn't, it died. The garlic is doing okay. And I just planted, instead of waiting to get my roses and everything, I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna plant here. So I put in a bunch of sunflowers inspired by Art and Brie.
And we need more compost here.
I put more.
Okay.
And I put in some radishes, moved some leeks over, put in some black-eyed Susans and borage. So
we
that's
got
good.
a package. And her name is Annette Mayfield, and I just was so excited to get it. I'm going to show that one last because I think it's so amazing. She made coasters, 4 different sets of coasters for us to use in our home. I love it. People crochet and it's amazing.
You should have seen her. We picked up the mail as we were leaving. We drive by our mailbox on our way to go somewhere, and here's this unexpected package in the mailbox. She tends to go over the top with enthusiasm and excitement, and that's kind of what happened in the truck that day.
And crocheted towels to hang on so that you don't have to look for a towel that I've ran off with. These are attached.
If they're attached, they don't run away. Otherwise, I'm searching the kitchen.
So these are for Jim.
Thank you, Annette.
And then this one, I just love. It's a crocheted, I think it's a pineapple. Pineapple means friendship, and it's a bookmark. So that's awesome because I'm always reading books.
Yes.
That's so cool.
You can't have too many bookmarks.
So thank you, Annette. And we don't put our address down there because we don't have a P.O. box yet. It's not in the pocketbook yet. So if you want to mail us something, just email me at Rhenda@hardinessapproach.com. I put it on the bottom of the newsletter now, how to get a hold of me, and we will send you our address. And that's what Annette did. So I got a subject that I just need to talk about really quickly that people have asked about, and that's hypoglycemia. Do you know what hypo and hyper mean, Jim?
You're not asking me.
I am. I'm asking if you know.
I don't know the difference.
Okay.
I'm a dummy.
You're not a dummy. Hypo is low. Hyper is high. So hypo is low blood sugar. Shaky. I need to eat. I don't feel good. What am I going to do about it?
So those times when you've kind of felt like you were bottomed out. I know when that happens to me, it hasn't happened for a long time because we've been eating right. But in the old days, I would see like those little dots in front of my eyes.
Yes.
And that's when you're into the hypoglycemic, and it's just you don't have enough, and your body is like struggling to do what it needs to do.
So hypoglycemia happens when your blood sugar isn't being metabolized correctly, and it is being asked to do too much on too little, or you've given it too much. And so I'm just going to explain it really as quickly as I can in as simple terms as I can. There are two kinds of carbohydrates, a simple and a complex. And this is in very much detail in this.
But let me see if I understand that.
I'm going to explain what they are.
Simple is simple, and complex is going to be a bunch of simples put together.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So when we eat a simple sugar, I just wanted to say that what I'm telling you is in detail in writing in the newsletter that came out today. If you did not get it and you want it, then go ahead and subscribe, and we'll have to send it to you.
Then and let us know, and we can get it resent to you if you don't receive it.
Okay, that's perfect. So a simple sugar is going to be like candy, cookies,
honey,
white sugar, corn syrup, and what it does is it goes directly into your bloodstream. Eat it in there. Done.
It doesn't go through your stomach first?
No. It goes into the... Well, don't get complicated on me.
Just saying.
Then complex sugars take longer to absorb. They go in to your body. They go in...
So they have to be broken down from their foods. And they're in the complex chains. They've got to be taken apart.
Right. So think of it as a time-released medication. It's a time-released energy. So simple gives you energy. Poof! You've got the energy, and complex is...
And you burn it right away.
And complex is an energy like this. Okay. So some of the complex ones are your starches, your vegetables, your pasta, your whole grains, things like that. Legumes, those are some of your complex. But I don't want you to be fooled by saying, okay, I'll just eat complex ones and it'll be okay. Because the complex ones that we go and get are whole grains that are stripped usually of their nutrients. And yes, they make bagels, and they make pasta, and they make all of these different things, but they're stripped. Now we make ours, but we take the grain, and we take all different kinds of grain, the whole grain. We grind it up.
We have a grinder.
Literally grind it up and use it right then.
We're slightly old-fashioned. Ours is manually hand-operated.
By choice.
Yes.
And
because we need the exercise so we can regenerate. That was an advertisement.
I saw that. Anyway, this way the nutrients they're broke down, but they're right there, and we're putting them into the product right then. When you buy it from the store, it is not. It is more refined. It's been sitting there for a while. Even when you buy a bag of whole wheat flour from the store, it's been sitting there, and it's not good. If you do buy one, put it in your freezer. Because
no, it's not good because it breaks down.
Breaks down
over time.
The nutrients
very rapidly. I mean, this applies to animal feed as well as, if it's in the grain form, it can last quite a while. If it's been milled, and it's over 30 days old,
old,
it's starting to lose its nutritional
Yeah.
value. If it gets beyond that, I mean, it doesn't like lose it 100%, but there's a percentage that it loses, and the longer over time it sets as a milled grain, the less nutrition that it has. I mean, I don't know that if it goes down to even 50% over a long period of time, but over months, but the longer it sets, the less it has. So if you paid a good price for your grains that are already milled, and then you let them set, their value is dropping. So you want to buy it, use it, or buy it whole and grind it, mill it yourself, and use it right away.
Back to the humans.
but
No, it's
that
the same.
comes to us.
No.
I mean, your animals aren't going to have as much nutrition to give you
Absolutely.
if they don't have it in them. But it
Absolutely.
applies to us as well. So your grains have got to be fresh.
So during digestion, the sugar goes into the bloodstream and then goes into the liver. And in the liver, it is turned into storage of energy that we can use when we need it. It's called glycogen. So it's stored in the liver, and it's
So it
stored
starts as sugar is glucose.
glucose. Now it's turned into glycogen, and it's stored in the liver and in the muscles. When those are full, and they're not. I mean, when those
muscle cells.
Yeah. Then the pancreas kicks in because there's still blood sugar running through our blood. There's still glucose running through our blood sugar. And so the pancreas kicks in and sends insulin there, and insulin unlocks the cells and lets more glucose into them.
Glycogen.
More glucose into them to be stored as glycogen.
Okay.
During exercise or times when you have no food, then the pancreas sends out another hormone. It's called glucagon. You don't have to remember all of these.
There's no test.
But it tells the liver, let go of that glycogen you've been holding on to, because I need it for energy, so turn it back into glucose, throw it back into the blood sugar so that I can move and I can do my things.
Bloodstream.
Bloodstream.
As
Yes.
blood sugar.
Thank you. Bloodstream as blood sugar, so that we can use it as we're exercising and as we haven't had any food for ourselves. Okay, I'm going to go back to there. So this is a normal process to be able, when we're exercising, to give our bodies the energy that they need.
It shares it around. Some of our cells, whatever cells or muscle cells are using up their energy or saying we need more. And so it comes from other places that aren't being used into the bloodstream, and then those are saying, give it to me, and they grab it out of the bloodstream.
They grab it.
Okay.
Okay, but and if your blood sugar drops too quickly, then our adrenal glands, which sit on the top of our kidneys, they're really, really important for us. They kick in this thing called adrenaline or epinephrine. And we also can, when we're really stressed, have cortisol kick in. And what those are good. We need all these hormones. And what they do is they give us energy really, really quick. I'm going to give you energy. They take it away from your belly and stuff, and they give it to your arms and your legs so you can run away from the saber-toothed tiger. Have you had any saber-toothed tigers on the farm lately?
Thank goodness, no.
But when we, as normal humans, are stressed for a long period of time,
I'm looking for those saber-toothed
fight or
tigers right
flighting and doing all of those things.
You got me scared.
We do it day after day and month after month and into the years. Then this wears out our adrenal glands. It wears out our pancreas.
So when they're wearing out, they don't do their job anymore.
They don't. They get burned out.
So we go into flight or flight and nothing happens.
Right. We're always there. So when we ingest carbohydrates, too much of them, processed foods, all the stuff that we normally
candies,
eat in the process,
sugary drinks,
in the modern, sad, standard American diet, the Western diet. When we do that, then what happens is the pancreas keeps sending out and sending out and sending out. So the insulin goes and the insulin goes and the insulin goes. And what happens is all of a sudden it's dropped that blood sugar out and you are in what we call hypoglycemia. Because you ate all this sugar and your body did what it was supposed to and it cleared it out. But it cleared it out way fast. So now you're in hypoglycemia. So what happens when you feel like this? Oh, you gotta have some orange juice. Give me a piece of peppermint to suck on. Give me something really sweet so I can hurry and get this blood sugar back up.
I've heard you say that.
Yes. So then the blood sugar spikes back up. We go for a little bit and then poof, it goes back down and we're back into hypoglycemia. Poof, 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 poof.
That doesn't sound good for your body.
It's terrible for your body. Terrible. So what can you do about it when you're doing that? First of all, we know that we're eliminating processed foods. We know that that has got to get out of our life. But when we feel like that, don't go get something sweet immediately. I get something sweet, but I put it with a protein. So I get a carb and I get a protein.
So you're going to get a complex carb.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not
I mean,
simple
if
sugar.
you have people down in the 30s, then you're going to throw something into them, but then you're going to get them into...
But you better balance it.
Better balance it. Better balance it. So what I'm going to do is just tell you some quick ideas. We always say this is the problem, but we don't tell you what to do about it all the time. And I want to make sure that we tell you what to do about it. So I'm actually going to look at my notes here so that I make sure I get it right. So you want to eat every 2 hours. Heard that before? That's what we do, every 2 hours. And don't ever eat longer than every 4 hours. You want to be able to keep the blood...
You don't engorge yourself.
Right. You want to be able to keep that blood sugar at a steady, stable throughout the day.
You're going to say you should eat from the four different areas. To keep it balanced, they all work together to make the right interactions happen in your body.
You want to eat breakfast. You want to have some protein with your carb. You want to make food ahead so that you have it. We don't have it right now, but do you remember when we had those containers where we had containers of cut up carrots and nuts and dates?
Don't
and you just pick them
package.
out. We need to get back to doing that. That is such a great idea.
Stability.
Yes, we are. Avoid caffeine because it's a stimulant. And eat a diet that's really high in fiber, because when you have fiber with vegetables, that's what helps make the glucose become absorbed slower so it doesn't shoot up and spike up your body. Eat more complex carbohydrates. Eat millet and buckwheat and quinoa and steel cut oats, and have nuts. Soak them so that they, and dehydrate them so that they process better. Seeds also. Find time to relax, de-stress, and exercise.
She's prompting me here with exercise.
Most of all, don't use sugar when you're shaky like that. Don't use it. Do the whole thing so that you can experience it for good. As one disclaimer at the bottom, we choose not to use the keto diet, which says you do not need the carbohydrates for your energy, but that is something that we choose not to do.
If you haven't subscribed to our newsletter, here's your chance. You can go to hardysapproach.com, and over on the right column is a form you can fill out, name and email address, and you'll be on our list to receive our newsletter every week and updates to the blogs or pertinent information. But mostly we just send out the email with the newsletter in it every week. And you can get it. It can be yours.
See you tomorrow.
Take care.